Hello, this is wmpyr. This is a tag video. I was tagged by Unclecow, and the subject is how do you knife fight? So first of all, let me just say thank you to Unclecow for tagging me. And yeah, my answer is pretty simple. I have a plan A, plan B, and plan C. Plan A is the most ideal. This is what I'm going for, which is I respond back with Filipino martial arts. Um, Plan B is something I call knife boxing, which is essentially boxing slash kickboxing, but I have a knife in my hand or I'm dealing with someone who has a knife. And then Plan C, which is like the worst for me, is something I call knife grappling. This is when I end up on the ground and there is a knife involved. Now, the biggest misconception there probably is that a lot of people say stuff like, well, I would never go to the ground in a street situation or in a real life self defense situation. True, but that's if you have a choice. A lot of times you may not have a choice. So if you don't have a choice and you don't know any kind of grappling at all, you're going to be in a really bad situation. So I believe in being prepared. And yeah, that's all it is. So if I do end up on the ground, I'll know what to do. I don't want to, but it's better, I believe, to have uh, knowledge and a backup plan. So there you go. That's my plan A, plan B, plan C. The reason why I have plans like that and I study martial arts is because I believe that if you have a system in your arsenal, like Filipino martial arts, Eskrima, Kali, Arnis, all three of those are the same thing, but they're just different in name only. They all fall into the category of FMA, Filipino martial arts. But anyway, if you have a system like that, I feel that a system is better than just having a couple of techniques that you cherry picked, you know? So when all things are equal, the guy who has the system to me has the advantage over someone who just has a bunch of techniques. So a bag full of tricks or an entire system. So that's why I do what I do, and I train in martial arts and stuff. So that's all really. That being said, let me say that I teach knife combat. So I teach how to knife fight, which is offensive moves with the knife. I also teach how to defend against a knife attack, and I also teach how to do self defense using a knife. So I teach all of that. That being said, let me just make it very, very clear that I don't have all the answers, and I am not some guru or master or anything like that. I never claim to have all the answers. I don't put myself in a high position. I am just a guide, okay? And I'm not saying that to try to, con people into thinking that I'm humble or something. I'm not saying that because I don't want to, some people don't want to be accountable because when it comes down to it, they don't want to take any responsibility for their techniques, for their strategies, for their info, and they basically, in a way, don't have confidence in what they do, and that's not the case at all. I'm very confident. It's just that I do believe in being humble because if you're not humble and if you come from an arrogant position, no matter how good you are, being arrogant puts you in a position where now you're going to make a lot of mistakes, like you're going to underestimate your enemy and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter how good you are, just being arrogant alone is going to open up holes in your game. But if you come from a humble perspective, even if you may not be that good, because you have a humble approach, I feel like you're going to perform better. So that's kind of the viewpoint. And humble doesn't mean a doormat, okay? Being true kind, in my opinion, someone who's truly nice, truly kind, is very strong. You have to be strong because, you have to take shit from other people, essentially, because you're strong. That's why if someone calls me names or something, I'm not instantly going to be like, what? You want to take it outside? I'm not going to behave that way. So essentially, I'm taking their shit. Why? Because I'm strong and I'm smart enough to know that it's not worth it. you know So to me, that's true humbleness. It's not because I'm scared of the guy by any means, but it's because I don't see this as productive or worthwhile, you know. Um, so anyway, yeah, and I also believe that there's a lot of people out there that are making big statements about this stuff, and the way that I see it is this is a very difficult subject. Being able to defend against a knife attack, or how do you use a knife to defend yourself, is a very serious, violent, potentially extremely violent situation. There's no easy answer to this. So I believe it takes a lifelong time of study. And even then, you're not guaranteed to have any answers at all. All we can do is study and make ourselves a little better. That's all we can do. And I feel like some people out there misinterpret the martial arts or misinterpret what they do. And they do a little bit of study and they think they have all the answers, and now they start making big statements. And I don't believe in that. You know, I think they're cutting themselves short, and they're crossing lines, and you know, mistaking opinion for fact. And that happened in the early UFC, where once the early UFCs occurred, people started making big statements and saying, see, high kicks don't work. And if they had a time machine and went to the future today, they'll know that lots of people have been knocked out by high kicks, you know, and all kinds of silly big statements like that. People making statements that it really shouldn't have been. And my recommendation is, instead of doing and saying stuff like that, I would just focus on yourself and focus on just training and, like I say, getting better. So there might be someone who's using the knife in the reverse grip. There might be someone who uses the knife in the standard grip. There might be someone that uses the knife in the backhand, whereas there's someone that uses it in the front hand. Instead of arguing about all this, which one's better and whatnot, I think it's better just to work on what you believe in and just keep making that better. And I guarantee you, there's someone else on the planet that's doing the same thing. So ultimately, that's all we got. So really, I apologize. This video is probably, whoever started this video was looking for specific techniques and specific strategies and mindset and whatnot, very specific stuff. But hopefully I presented more of a system of putting all that together, rather than, or a viewpoint of how you could put that together, rather than just cherry picking. So that's my video. I hope it helps in some way, shape, or form. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.